right, made it to the top. Classic slow bike. Riding a slow bike fast is fun. I usually don't enjoy that section that much on the DRZ or the Beta, but very enjoyable today. I'm gonna pull over in the shade here, adjust my shifter up, my rear brake down. Okay, I adjusted the brake lever. Interesting, I had to adjust it to the maximum amount it would go just to get it pretty much level. I'd like it maybe a little lower because these brakes are actually really good on this bike. Not a lot of sponge. The shifter, we were unable to adjust because it's an Allen key from the bottom. Skid plate's in the way. I could do it, but it would just be really fiddly, take a long time. So as you can see, the shifter's a smidge low to get squeezing the boots in underneath, you know. So back to riding. Now we're gonna do some of these little pretty easy single tracks. Feel the bike out. First impressions are the suspension and chassis is pretty phenomenal, all things considered. And it really just leaves you wanting more power because the bike can take it. You know, the chassis is there, the suspension's there. Nice and supple, supportive. Okay, might have touched far on the rear brake, but maybe just need to get used to it. What is interesting with the chassis, or the bike in general, is it feels a bit vague. There's not a lot of feel through the tires and the suspension, or chassis. It feels good, but I don't feel like I'm like, you know, feeling the ground completely. Could just be something you have to get used to. You know, every bike you gotta kind of gel with. Takes a little while. It's like that was like first gear pinned. You can try second on this section, but realistically it's probably a first gear. Yeah, we're going to first. So I have it geared at 13 front, 47 rear, 13 stock. I think 43 rear is stock, but I have a 47 on it, which was kind of what the internet said was the best dual sport gearing. But I'm thinking a 49 on the rear would be better, because you don't really want to have to use first unless you're in, you know, super tight stuff. Like that hill should have been, well, at least on, you know, the DRZ or the Beta, 300 would be second. Well, this feels good in second. It jumps real nice. Lands really smooth. The lake out there in the distance. Lake Elsinore. Got to ride that gear out, because shifting up to fourth there would just, you know, lose it. I think that's just third. Fourth. Feels good though. You know, well, the challenging thing is when you're a first time rider, early rider, you know, revs are kind of scary, right? So people think, you know, give me the small displacement bike, it's easier to ride, but it's kind of not, because you don't have that tractor effect that you would have on like a DRZ, for example, where you can kind of like, you know, fail at the hill climb or whatever and not have to clutch and just kind of, it'll idle its way up, you know, relatively, right? You just tractor it up there. This thing, you just bog down and stall, which is better for learning. You know, you want to learn how to ride a bike like this because it'll translate, of course. It's definitely a very fun bike. I'm enjoying myself on it. Yeah, I think the 49 rear for how I ride my bikes, basically not on the street at all, would be the move. But you know, you want to keep this thing able to hop on the highway for short trips and whatnot to get to places. But that's like 4th gear pin. Alright, let's go try that again in a second. See what it's like. First just feels, whoops. First just feels abusive. Okay, 2nd gear this time. First, 2nd. So this is no clutch, just, I mean, it makes it, but you know, if you lose your momentum, it ain't making it. This is my favorite little pretend race course. Run laps going this way. little bit easier on the DRZ. Well, faster I'm sure, because you can come out of this and shift to third and just slide the whole thing. This is second on the WR. Time to head back. Wiped out from doing all that filming. The riding's easy, but having to hop off when you're all hot, set up the camera, it's exhausting. The overall package of this thing just feels so nice. Just wish it had a little more power, but you could gear it a lot more aggressively if you don't really plan on doing street. Then it's probably not as much of an issue. It also doesn't sound the best. Tusk D-Sport tires, for you know what they are and the price they are and whatnot, are such awesome tires. On a bike like this, or the DRZ, or you know, any of the bigger 650 dual sports, if you're doing a lot of dirt stuff. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Oh my gosh. Rears all over the place. Oh my god. Is the rear like flat? What's going on? Oh, there's air in it. Let's drop the air pressure a little. It's feeling a bit wild. They were at 16 in the garage, or 15 in the garage. Let's see what they're at now. 17. Let's go down to 13. 15, 14, 13. Yeah, it makes sense they gained a couple out here. It's hot. They were both set at 15 in the garage yesterday. Front's at 15. Now it's at 13. Third gear, pinned up that motorcycle coming towards me, scared me. Man, the rear just is kicking. Definitely needs some suspension tuning. It's funny, I couldn't get it to kick earlier, but that's because I probably wasn't leaning the bike as much as I am now, because I feel more comfortable. And now the rear just says sayonara. Honestly, this bike is really fun to ride. I don't know if it might just be because it's my first time out here, but so playful, so easy, unintimidating. You get to flog it as fast as you can, and it's there for you. It reminds me of like a Ninja 400, 300. Low on power, but high on fun. R3, I guess, you know. If you're not the right gear though, boy, it has nothing for you. Can't tell on those, I'm sure, but the rear's just coming around. It's definitely where the D Sport feels lacking compared to what tires I'm used to riding on is. Or is that edge grip. But to be honest, as long as you can control it, just makes it more fun. Or as long as it doesn't get away from you. And you know, obviously I'm spending my time mostly on fire roads. You know, that's probably where this bike is gonna excel a lot more, I think. Obviously you can take it on single track, but it's probably not where this bike's gonna thrive, especially with this gearing. When you shift to third too early, it just been doing a lot of single track recently, so the fire road stuff feels so fun because you can just fly. So much more room for air, you know, so much more space. First gear. It's just funny having to just be bouncing off the top in first. So it's kind of like the gap between first and second is too large. It'd be nice if first, second, third, fourth, maybe a little tighter. Fifth and sixth were out there, or you know, a little taller. Thought I was gonna hit that root and throw me off. Second, huh? Came in with more speed, so it's manageable. Let's go down first. Well, that was not it. Let's see if we can get going in first here. This thing hates starting after it falls. Don't love that. I thought having all the emission stuff removed would solve that. Uh-oh. I was not in gear. Yeah, bye-bye turn signal, huh? Took my foot off the rear brake, but it was in neutral. Let's go back down and try again. That was exhausting. Okay. First gear again. Let's go a little slower. In the beginning here. Yeah, no shot second would have that. But got first, so good to go. Hitting all the big rocks. Jeez. What an idiot. Hitting every big rock, just throwing them every which way. So this is Santiago Peak up on the top of this. Saddleback Ridge Mountains out of Orange County. It's the riding area. Street legal stuff only. It's not a OHV or anything. But look up Saddleback Mountain or Santiago Peak. You'll take the same thing I took up to get to Santiago. This is a single track, goes all the way up there, but time for us to head back. And you know, this bike felt really tall, you know, in the garage and sitting on it, but out riding it, it feels fine. I mean, dirt bikes are tall in general. My 2019 Beta 300 is, you know, taller than this. So I'm, you know, 5'10", 5'11" to 5'10", so it's obviously totally manageable. You just have to, you know, put yourself in the right spots to stop, not the wrong ones like I did a couple times. Hopefully I caught them. But you know, dropping the bike is part of riding. If you're not dropping it, you're not pushing yourself, you're not getting better, I think. So you want to be dropping it a little. All right, well that wraps it up. Thumbs up from a DRZ rider, two-stroke rider. Would recommend the WR250R to somebody beginner, intermediate. Somebody advanced would obviously have fun on it, but you know, they're advanced, they're gonna want something advanced. So yeah, suspension's good, chassis good, brakes feel good, overall handled great. Could change the gearing to be a little more aggressive, but just keep her ringed out and she's there for you. Tusk D-Sport tires, very nice. This is one ride on them, so you can see the wear. Not bad. That's the rear, obviously. The front probably looks like nothing happened to it as usual. Dropped it a few times. The only thing I didn't like is it didn't like to start after being dropped, which You would think something fuel injected wouldn't really have those issues, but yeah, big thumbs up. It does great at going fast, but if you just want to cruise, take it easy, it does great at that too. Because the suspension is so supple, you know, it's a really nice just putter. You can just stay seated and cruise right along. It's really quite enjoyable. It's more enjoyable to stay seated on this than it is on my DRZ or my Beta. Those tend to be a bit more stiff, a bit more aggressive, you know, because they're set up to be ridden a bit harder. So just wanted to throw that in there for anybody that's wondering. Nice little canyon street section. One of the best parts of the Tusk D-Sports. They handle great on-road too. Let's test out on the main road. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, so this is what separates it from a DRZ. A DRZ, I would only like to ride it at like 65, 70 tops, just because it felt like, you know, having 5 speeds, it was at the end of its, you know, you're working the engine too hard. This thing feels like I could cruise it 70 all day long. 75, 80, 85, 90, easy. So this is really where the WR comes alive. If you're going to plan to use it as an actual dual sport and ride on the street a lot, very nice. I would enjoy cruising on this thing plenty. Load it back up in the truck and go home. Whew. Workout setting up these camera angles. Amateur hour.